Yeah,
Really is.
He's catching the last half wrong.
I told him today, I said, Raw always lasts about 11 o'clock anyway.
I mean, Warren, I know man, this is three hours. He's catching the main event. That's probably
Yeah.
All right, let's call to order. Everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda. Motion to adopt the agenda.
So, I'll take it.
Second by Isaiah, motion by Aaron. All in favor? No public comments. No old business. Second by Isaiah. Aaron.
I think Frazier was the first and then the second by Grindstaff, I believe.
Uh-oh. Well,
She's gonna beat me up. She said, why don't we finish my budget meeting, let Patty go and then just kind of have a workshop or something.
Yeah.
So if I ever get going, I gotta just stop here.
well, you got going on it. There's no old business. New business, we have a reappointment for the Board of Equalization. She's been on the board. She's just requesting to be reappointed.
Motion to accept.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She were hired.
Sue, did you get that? Motion by Frazier, second by. Any further discussion?
So
on
then
that?
she's been working in the office, is that?
She's on the Board of Equalization.
Okay.
The past 4 years.
Retired in 2005, was manager for 7 years. I can say, I remember her name, yeah.
All in favor? She's reappointed. The next, this little bit of discussion, we're gonna have Josh, the county attorney, chime in. If he's still
Superman
alive.
Johnny.
There's some questions about the 6th district planning seat, that Ken Arney currently holds. There's been no proof in the minutes that that seat was ever reappointed. Should have been reappointed last year. So Josh, we agreed that it was probably a holdover, but definitely needs to be addressed this year. Josh, I'll let you elaborate from what your research found.
Okay, can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, I haven't got my pajamas on yet, so I'm still good to be on here. Basically, there's always been a little inconsistency with the terms on the board and the information that we get. I know some of these things are hard to keep up with, but in my opinion, I think we could expect the planning commission to know their own terms, or the director to know the terms of the planning commission. Specifically with Mr. Arney, I received a letter. This has been going on for years, obviously. I received a letter from Mr. Schuler on July 7th, 2015, and at that time, I was informed that Mr. Arney's term expired April 2018. These are supposed to be 4-year terms. I received a letter on December 16th of 2019 that indicated Mr. Arney's term expired in April of 2019, which is obviously not possible from the earlier correspondence. Then I received another correspondence on April 13th of this year when I asked, and they said Mr. Arney's term expires April of 2023, which would make sense if it originally expired in 19. If that was accurate, then it would be accurate that it would go to 2023 again, but he would have had to have been reappointed around April of 2019. When I checked the commission meeting minutes, which is what matters as far as these appointments, because the full commission has to appoint these members. The last appointment action that I found in the minutes for planning commission was in October of 2018, and that did not include Mr. Arney. So I find no appointments at all in the year 2019. So if you take it at face value, that term would have expired April of 2019. There's been no reappointment, and so he would be a holdover in office, and there would be an eligible person there that could fill that spot. So that's where we're at. And even the latest correspondence I received in April of this year is incorrect, at least as to Ms. Googe and Ms. Collins, because in the October commission meeting minutes, it indicates they were reappointed with terms to expire in 2023, and they're listed on this sheet as like to expire this year. So we've got an issue with record keeping and when these appointments actually expire.
Josh, with the changes that we made to the number and terms, do we even have to reappoint at this time?
Well, you would have, according to this list at least, Mr. Arney and Randall Jenkins, both in the 6th district. And the goal of that resolution, of course, was the Mr. Jenkins would come off as a duplicate commissioner, of course, and there would be a vacancy in the 6th that Mr. Arney could certainly fill if he were reappointed. But if he's not been reappointed, then we need to advertise. And I mean, he may get reappointed again, but there would be a vacancy in the 6th between those two.
And so we should advertise the position, correct?
Based on the records I've found, unless anybody can show me anything different, I'm taking Mr. Schutler's correspondence at face value, at least the last two, which would line up to say Mr. Arney's term expired April 2019. I find no evidence in the minutes that he was reappointed. So if he is, he's obviously still serving, but he wasn't reappointed, so he would be a holdover in office. And in my opinion, that's he could either be reappointed to finish the term, or a new person could be appointed to finish the term. But something needs to be done. Either he's reappointed or somebody new. But that 6th district needs a private citizen appointment.
Does that mean at this time and in the votes that have taken place since April, I guess, when his term was initially supposed to expire, that his participation is no longer valid and invalidates potentially some of those votes, or keeps him from participating moving forward until he's either reappointed or somebody is appointed in that position?
Yeah, I think what's happened up to now is still fine. I mean, in my opinion, he's just a holdover in office, and he's still a valid holder of that office until his replacement is appointed. It should have been done timely in April of 19, but since then he's still been serving and still been a valid member and voting until such time as his position is reappointed or a new person is appointed to fill his position.
Make a motion that we begin advertising for the replacement for the 6th district seat, or at least an open spot for the 6th district seat. Second.
Motion by Aaron Fraser, second by Isaiah.
Travis.
Or Travis.
And you got an excuse, we're 4 hours into it. I didn't.
I mean, I can do a voice call, or is it all in favor? You want to do a voice roll call on that? All in favor? Josh?
Yep.
Do we need to take this to full commission, or do we just, how does this go from here on this?
Well, ultimately, the full commission is the appointing body. So I would say yes, and I'll be happy to have this same discussion there.
I'll need you to repeat this same discussion next week.
Yeah, that's no problem. They're the ultimate, full commission is the deciding body there. So yes, I think it should come before me.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
You are released to leave now.
No, you're not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go back. Go back.
He's waving by.
I can ask you later.
Let's go.
Oh, no, Kelly.
Oh, I thought he did.
Josh, you still here?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Is he muted, Abby?
No,
There he is.
There he is.
When you had mentioned my name and I didn't catch exactly what you said, so could you repeat that?
Your turn doesn't start.
Yes, ma'am. According to the list that Chris Shutler sent me, your term expires April of this year, or has already expired according to this list. But in the full commission meeting minutes from October of 2018, there was a vote taken that it approved your appointment for the 8th district until 2023. So I don't know why that would have been a 5-year term from October of 18, but that's what the full commission approved. So that's inconsistent with what he's currently reporting, your term to be.
Okay, so it would have, I would have to go back before full commission since we, to change that.
Well, no, this was done before that resolution was passed. So, the full commission in October of 2018 voted that your reappointment was until 2023. So that stands, in my opinion, and wouldn't be undone because the resolution that was passed did not shorten any existing term.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Looked like somebody licked all the red off your lollipop.
Any further discussion on that topic?
I do believe that since there is a lot, as always been, since there's been a lot of concern and confusion, continuing forward, Kelly's got 5 terms, I don't know if we're going to do better.
Just 2 years into it.
No, that's okay.
But we need to this needs to come to a head. Either we begin keeping track of this, or Chris is going to have to do a better job keeping track.
That's exactly what, this came about because I've been keeping track of it. And then when I brought it and I questioned it, I did not get much help. So we looked into the minutes, and that's what brought us to the fact that we have to see it's possibly open.
Then, this needs nominate Josh. Someone needs to tell planning that from now on, they can keep track of it if they want to, but the county commission minutes, whatever county commission minutes reflect, whatever we maintain is the list we're going off of. I remember when I first got appointed and Leon was mayor and they had a whole other issue. We argued in the nominating committee meeting for like 3 hours over like 3 different meetings. And this is enough. In fact, I think Abby was probably president at the time. I said, as a newspaper person, I think you were president of the nominating committee at that time.
Yes, I was.
So this is enough.
And like I told someone as chairman of this committee, I feel it's my due diligence to keep up with it. Not necessarily that I know every opening that's coming about. I do depend on people that come to me for reappointments, but these certain committees I am trying to keep up with. As far as they expire.
Between what you have and then what Abby is able to put on the website, because I know Abby's been updating those, I think Abby's been updating those. And then what Josh maintains as well. That's a good triple check and balance. And anything outside of that, I think is just, we need to discount. So that's my opinion.
Any further discussion?
Do we need to put something to rules and bylaws that sets up management of it within the commission?
Josh?
What was that?
Do we need to set something to rules and bylaws where we set up management of the different boards and their tenures?
You certainly could have a some sort of rule about management of the list of terms and things. Obviously, common sense would dictate that someone at the planning commission, most likely the planning director, would keep up with the full terms, or the chairman or somebody at that, within that planning commission. But you could do that for each and every board if you wanted to.
I think it's pretty necessary just to have it laid out there so you can see, it's, hey, well, what's this group look like? What's their committee like? That you could actually pull a file or something.
Well, and I currently go off what Abby, what we put together in the past little bit, and I review it back and forth just to keep an eye on things. Not everybody comes to me and says this thing's or whatever, but I do my best to keep up with it. This one did come to, I have been keeping up with, so I knew there were issues with it.
Josh, where would that be appropriate? I mean, I know it ultimately, if we push it to rules and bylaws, that would be their decision. Ultimately, where do you feel that maybe should take a home? Would that be, between the nominating chair and like the mayor's office, with a copy at the clerk's office, or would it be the clerk's office in general? How do you feel about that?
Well, obviously, some of these positions change, chairmanships change. At the end of the day, it may not be well received, but at the end of the day, the clerk's office is the record keepers for the county commission. I mean, that's part of the duties of the county clerk. So, I mean, since I've been around, it's been a kind of a joint effort between Mary's office and Patsy and the mayor's office and the secretary in the mayor's office in both administrations. Everybody's, I think, trying to, in good faith, keep up with it. It's just a lot to keep up with. At the end of the day, the records, the official minutes are all maintained in the county clerk's office. If you could ever get a handle on it and get it all squared away once and for all, and kind of keep up with it, it wouldn't be that big of a chore. If you've ever been to the county clerk's office to search for something in the commission meeting minutes, it's not that big of a search. And it depends on who put it in there and how it was indexed. And there's nothing that's searchable. It's literally flipping through a book. So it's not the easiest thing to keep up with in our current format, but that's where the buck stops with official records of the county commission.
I'll make a motion to send this to rules and bylaws for their discussion.
I'll second that.
And that would be all, not just,
All
if you're
these
gonna do
terms.
it, you need to do it for everybody,
Okay.
not just single out planning and everybody. You agree?
I completely agree. I assume that's what you meant.
I just clarified.
All in favor of that motion and second? Thank you, Josh.
Yes, ma'am.
Further discussion? Motion to adjourn.
Say, I would say, yes.
Past our regular work day.
Yeah, I agree.
We will think of something. We'll also auction something off.
Now, I got fine jersey and all.
Start auctioning them outside agencies off. We're fine, we're 10, we're 2,500.
We're gonna say all.
Well, I can talk to Brad,
All in
see if
favor?
he'll take it out of
Last
the-
vote.
Aye.
meeting. They gonna work, how much time did it take you to get the setup and all that?
Motion to adjourn.
Say,
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.